All right, y'all, what's good? If you're a creator who's struggling with mental blocks, your mindset, or inner battles, then this book, The War of Art, is for you. And today I want to just talk a little bit about some insights about my perspective on the creator mindset, some gems from this book, and really talking about fear and the role that fear plays for a lot of creators. I guess to start off, I'm just going to read a section from this book, and it says, "Are you paralyzed with fear? Well, that's a good sign. Fear is good. Like self doubt, fear is an indicator. Fear tells us what we have to do. Remember our rule of thumb: the more scared we are of a work or calling, the more sure we can be that we have to do it." So in this book, it talks about fear, but it calls it the resistance. And the resistance is like that friction that you feel that's stopping you from putting paint to canvas or hitting record on your camera. And I like the perspective because this book actually says that your fear is an indicator and is going to show you what is more important, because if you're feeling a lot of resistance, that's actually a sign that you're onto something good. You know, a lot of people feel the resistance and it stops them and it makes them give up. But really, feeling that resistance, you should feel like, okay, I'm on the right path. Like, you should feel uncomfortable hitting record and talking to the camera. Like, you should feel uncomfortable hitting post and posting your video. You should feel uncomfortable when you're in the studio and you're recording a really meaningful song. Because if you're not, then it's probably going to be pretty lukewarm. It's going to be pretty average. And that's not the kind of shit that I want to create. You know, I want to create work that is authentic and that resonates and that it hits. And the most authentic messages and the most authentic art that you create is going to have the most fear because it's the most vulnerable. You know, it's like, I'm kind of talking about something that, you know, even some of my close friends might not even know about. But that's how you do the work, and how you make your art really great is by pushing through the resistance and those uncomfortable components. So, and for me, you know, with fear, it's not about avoiding the feeling of fear. It's about learning how to navigate it and having the courage to push through, because without fear, there's no courage. Like, courage comes from overcoming fear and doing it even when you have that feeling of fear. And so the other part of this like message and this video, like where you're coming from and why you create something, makes all the difference in the result of what you're creating. So if you want to make better art, better videos, better work, you know, it's not necessarily about getting these new cameras and getting this new gear and trying this new trick and this editing tactic. It's more about where are you coming from when you're making this video. And for me, the kind of two places I think about is you can be creating from a place of fear, or you can be creating from a place of faith. And for me, that's been a big mantra and focus for me with my creator mindset, is like faith over fear. Because as a creator, you're creating something out of thin air. You're making something new. You're making something bold. And that takes a level of belief. You have to believe in what you're creating, believe in yourself to even get over the hurdle of like showing up in the first place. Most people don't even get over the fear that even gets them to show up and to start in the first place. And you're not going to grow if you don't even show up. Versus like when you have that faith and that positivity, like fear feels very like negative, pessimistic. And it's your choice of if you want to choose faith or if you want to choose fear. And sometimes it's an unconscious choice. Like you're not always aware that you're moving from a place of fear, and the first step is like being conscious of it and identifying, is this a decision that's coming from a place of fear or is it coming from a place of faith? And, you know, there's even something with this with like the short-term mindset and the long-term mindset, you know? There's this short-term mindset of, oh, I need to make money. I need this to work. Why isn't this working yet? And then there's the long-term mindset of becoming the best version of yourself and having values and not compromising on those values, even though you're going to be tempted in the short term. You're going to have a brand reach out and want to pay you to promote that brand. And that might be the thing that breaks trust with your audience that you've been building for 10 years because you promote the wrong brand and you're coming from a place of, I need to make money, and having fear that you're not going to get a different opportunity. Faith, on the other hand, is positive. It's optimistic and is also not knowing the complete game plan and not knowing the future. Your job isn't to know the outcome when you start creating art. You're going to be surprised and shocked with the outcomes, and your job isn't to be able to predict the future. No one can see the future. Your job is to just show up, put in the work, and to do the damn thing and to not be afraid. Fear, it's like thinking of the worst case scenario, whether it's you're on a video shoot and it's like, oh, well, what if this, what if this, what if this, and you can panic and spiral going down the worst case scenario. Gives you all of this anxiety and stress trying to plan for the worst. And then that doesn't even end up happening, and you didn't need to deal with that stress or that anxiety. And so it's a balance, because you don't want to go into it ignorant. You want to be prepared and have somewhat of a plan, but you also need to have that faith that when you show up and you put your best foot forward, that what's going to happen is what's supposed to happen, and that you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. You don't have to make art. You get to make art. And going back to the war of art, another concept it talks about is the muse. That's this, mystical energy that inspires artists to create inspired work and great work. And it talks about how the muse is going to reward you when you show up. And you don't always know how it's going to reward you or what's going to happen, but what you can do is show up. Even for me with this video, I wasn't planning on making a video today. I've been majorly holding myself back, speaking on camera, hitting record, hopping on camera, and making these videos. And it's been like the over-analysis paralysis. I've had such high expectations for myself and standards that it led to no videos coming out for months. And this new chapter has been about pushing through that and having faith and leaning into faith over fear when I create. And even today, I wasn't planning on making this video, didn't really know what I was going to talk about, but I set up my camera, I sat in my chair, I opened up my laptop, and boom, the ideas came to me of what I felt like I needed to talk about today. So you don't need to have a perfect plan, and you don't need to plan out every single detail. That's the beauty of faith and of believing, is that it's not knowing. It's a choice to be optimistic and to be positive. And it's a choice to believe that you can actually do it and not doubt yourself, not be afraid of how many people are going to see this, or afraid that you're going to look like an idiot, or afraid that no one's going to like it, or afraid that it's a waste of time, or afraid that it's a waste of money. Instead, having the faith that you're exactly where you need to be, and that, people care about what you have to say. We're not in the business as a creator of trying to force somebody to like your content. I'm not spamming my content. I'm not pushing it on somebody that doesn't want it. And I'm not trying to please everybody, because we've all heard, you try to please everybody, you please nobody. For me, my approach that I want to have is I want to be myself, and I want to express myself authentically. And I want to hopefully attract people that like me for me and my topics, that are interested in similar topics, and they're also aligned in the values that I hold as a creator. And so that difference between faith and fear is the difference between confidence and insecurity. Because why you're creating something makes all the difference in the outcome of what you're creating. Are you creating this because you're trying to look cool for certain people, or because you're trying to just make money in the short term? Because that makes the difference between content and art. Content is like, it's a marketing term, it's a business term. Like, content comes from the intention that you're wanting to get conversions, you're wanting to sell. And not to hate on content, like, not everybody is an artist or wants to make art. But me personally, I resonate with being an artist and wanting to make genuinely great art. And for me, genuinely great art is about, where is that art coming from and why are you creating that art? And what is your why? Art isn't content. And that's why artists get so offended when you call their work content, because they're like, this is so much more. This is my heart. This is my soul. Like, this is who I am. This took courage for me to put out. This isn't selfish. That's like, hey guys, what's up? So we got 3 more days to promote my program, and you can sign up for it today and blah, 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 blah. Art, on the other hand, is extremely selfless. Art is literally showing your soul and opening yourself up so that somebody else has the opportunity to see themselves in your work. And they're only going to see that when it comes from an authentic place, and it's going to resonate. And a lot of the times that takes sacrifice from artists to do things in a different way. I had a mentor tell me, he said, money doesn't lead, it follows. And everyone has that backwards. You're trying to follow the money and it's not working. And I can speak from personal experience from my past of, like, thinking from a place of fear or from a short-term perspective of, oh, I need to make money. And you're chasing the money, versus when you can create something that matters, say something meaningful, create value and transformation and impact, then the money is going to find its way to follow you. I really love, like, Alex Hormozy's perspective on providing value, where he is not holding anything back. He's giving you the sauce, and he's giving you everything in one long video on how to make $1 million or whatever. And when he does that, the viewers get genuine value and they take action on it, and their life changes. And when your life is genuinely changed by Alex Hormozy, when he eventually launches his book or his program or whatever he's offering, you're going to throw your money at him because he proved himself. You can trust that he knows what he's talking about. And he wasn't in every single video spamming the conversion and spamming trying to sell you. Instead, he's dumping value. He's giving all the value and trying to create real growth and transformation. And when you feel the impact on that, you become a fan and you come back for more. You're like, wait a minute, that was an insanely impactful idea. I want more of those. So you're going to read his book, you're going to watch his YouTube videos, and you're going to listen to his podcast. And when that transformation has happened, then you are more than willing to pay $20 for his book, or even for the people that had more impact, pay thousands of dollars for his programs, come to his events, whatever it is. And so for me, that really showcases the concept of money doesn't lead, it follows. When thinking about faith over fear, I also think about something that Kanye said, where he's like, if you want to be a fearless leader, then you have to be a faithful leader. Faith is literally the antidote to fear and the solution to fear. Because if you had faith, then you wouldn't have those doubts or feel so pessimistic. If you had that faith, then you would have the positivity of, instead of what if the worst case scenario happens, what if the best case scenario happens? What if it works? People are so afraid of starting because they're thinking of the doubts and thinking of the failure. But you should feel excited to start, excited to create, and excited to hit record on your camera, because what if it works? Why not you? You know, there's no reason why you can't get it. If you want the life that most people don't have, then you have to be willing to do what most people aren't willing to do. Like, we look at Mr. Beast, and he makes these videos where he's doing what most people aren't willing to do, and he gets what most people don't get. And so it sounds kind of simple, but it's so true. If you're doing what everyone else is doing, then you're going to get the same results that everyone else is getting. But when you're like Casey Neistat and you're like, I'm going to vlog every single day, and you're doing the thing that no one else is doing, he's like, I'm going to shoot and edit all my videos myself. I'm going to make them mad creative. Boom, it works. Like Mr. Beast, at the very early days, he's going to take the money from a brand and give it all to a homeless person or give it all to someone else. Wild move. Most creators, you get a $10,000 brand deal and you're like, sick. I'm going to get a new camera. I'm going to, go out with my friends. I'm going to get this new gear. But Mr. Beast instead saw the opportunity to take that money and take a massive risk that he only was able to take that risk out of somewhat of a place of faith that it would pay off. Otherwise, if he was thinking, oh, I'm going to give this money to this person and the video's going to flop and they're going to end up, spending it on drugs, then he wouldn't have done it in the first place. So he had to be a little bit delusional to think, I'm going to do this thing that nobody else has done. I'm going to take all this money and just go straight here. I'm going to film it and boom. Or I'm going to say Logan Paul 200,000 times and make a video about it. And those are extreme examples, but it's even the little things of you show up every day, you pull up your camera and you hit record. You talk about things that feel uncomfortable to talk about, but it's out of a place of faith that these topics are going to resonate with somebody and they're going to help somebody out there. So I guess my message today is essentially don't choose fear. Don't listen to the fear. Fuck what anybody else thinks. Fuck the fear and have faith. Don't lose your faith, because you're going to maybe have bursts of faith and then you're going to be challenged and tested and you're going to do 5 videos that get 10 views each. And the fear is going to creep back in and it's going to be like, bro, you sound like an idiot. Bro, who are you to be out here teaching people? Bro, you're not good enough. Instead, overcome that and have the courage to push through, stay optimistic, stay positive, and have faith that you can do it. Why is it important that you become the best version of yourself? Why is it important for you to be able to speak your truth and let people know who you are and what you're all about? Why is it important for you to be a leader in your community, in your family, and in your life? How badly do you want it? Like, are you willing to push through and do those uncomfortable things that you don't want to do? Are you willing to keep showing up? Are you willing to push through the valley of despair of when everyone else is giving up and is stopping? But it's the ones that keep pushing through, that keep showing up, that keep going where nobody else is gone, that end up getting those results that nobody else is getting. So y'all, that's essentially my message for today. Hope you guys enjoy it. Comment below. Where are you struggling as a creator? Is it the physical component of knowing how to create videos, or is it the mental component and the mindset? I want to hear from you guys, and I'll see you next week.